Alright everyone, welcome to another stream. A little bit of a surprise stream here. This is something I've actually been wanting to do for about a month now. This is the Sony PlayStation version of Solar Eclipse, which was a Sega Saturn game. Known as Solar Eclipse in North America, in Japan it was known as Titan Wars, and when it got a PlayStation port in Europe, it was also dubbed Titan Wars. But it's basically Solar Eclipse from the Saturn. Interestingly, this never came out outside of Europe on the PlayStation. This is a PlayStation or European exclusive on the PlayStation. So kind of interesting. No Japanese release of this, no North American release. I'm not really sure why, because it seems like Total Eclipse on PlayStation did well enough. I mean, it got a re-release in a small case and everything. It was originally a early PlayStation big box title, so that kind of tells me that there are a bunch of copies out there. But for some reason, this game did not get a stateside release. Wonder if Sega had some sort of exclusivity agreement on the Saturn version. I have no idea. It's just open to speculation at this point. But after kind of binging the Sega Saturn version a couple months ago, decided to seek out the Sony PlayStation version of the game. And yeah, so what we've got here is the actual PlayStation version in the flesh. This is the actual European copy of the game. This is what it looks like. European titles had these fat cases. I'm guessing to house larger manuals, as a lot of European games would have multi-language manuals. So yeah, you had these fat cases. Dreamcast was kind of the same way with European releases. Sega Saturn had the big boxes though, so yeah, they could fit really large manuals in those. But yeah, this is the actual PAL version of the game. PAL games do not work on the PlayStation out of the box. So what we're actually doing is we have a Goldfinger cartridge hooked to the back of my PlayStation, and soft modding of PlayStation hardware has come such a long way that you can basically just flash a Goldfinger cartridge and it'll allow you to just boot any region of game. You can also boot CDRs if you want. And so that's actually how we're playing this game on an American console. Now, the flashed Goldfinger also allows you to do a PAL to NTSC patch, and that's basically what's happened here, allowing us to run this game on the American Sony PlayStation. Now, unfortunately, this is just a major disclaimer. I don't think the patch has worked 100% because the music is still sped up, and I think even the gameplay is sped up as well. So for those of you guys that are watching in Europe in particular, and you want a accurate representation of what this game runs like in your region, you're going to want to try to find another long play video of this game or another live stream from someone overseas in your territory, not in North America, running on a North American console like I am right here. So just a FYI, just a heads up, the gameplay in this and the music in particular is going to be sped up because of that 50 to 60 hertz difference. The voice acting is actually perfectly fine. Interestingly enough, those samples do not play faster. Likewise, your basic sound effects, I think, also trigger the same. I don't think they play at a faster speed. So yeah, so Titan Wars, PAL version on an American console. It's not going to be perfect, obviously, but yeah, we're going to play through the game regardless. I'm a big fan of the Sega Saturn version of this game. I've always been a big fan. I'm going to actually move this gameplay over a little bit too, because it's not centered. And yeah, I've always enjoyed the Sega Saturn version. It was one of the earliest Saturn titles I ever personally had, and I've gone back to the game many times over the years, and I have a good time with it. For those of you guys that have never seen this, if you haven't watched my previous streams of it, this is a story-focused game. You're going to hear a lot of voice comm chatter throughout the playthrough. So just kind of get used to that. For those of you guys that decide to play this on your own, you can go to the sound options menu and just completely turn off the comm unit, as they call it here. I don't really recommend doing that if you're playing this game for the first time, at the very least, because there are parts of the game where you actually have to listen to what they're saying. Sorry, deaf people. there are voice callouts that say, oh, go left, go right, and if you don't, you're gonna run into a dead end in a cave and just die instantly. So the original Total Eclipse had that, but it didn't have any comm chatter, so you had to figure that stuff out. by trial and error. This game, they at least give you like a hint on where to go and whatnot. Also, the comm unit is like an active tutorial for a lot of the game. Like in the early parts in particular, they'll be like, hey, shoot these enemies because sometimes they drop goodies, or you know, if you get this will happen, blah blah blah. So it's actually kind of a clever implementation of the comm system, the communication system. So yeah, kind of cool. But yeah, so we're gonna go through the whole game, and another caveat here is if you want to see all the in-game cutscenes, I'm not gonna be playing them. The reason for that is that this is kind of a surprise stream. I don't have a whole lot of time this afternoon, and I've got to be somewhere in a couple of hours. And a full playthrough of this game, a full smooth playthrough with all the cutscenes, is going to take 2.5 to 3 hours of time. And I unfortunately don't have that time, so we're going to just play the core game itself, skip through a lot of the cutscenes, and hopefully we can get this playthrough done in about 2 hours or less. So there are, if I remember correctly, it's anywhere from 8 to 10 stages in the game. I want to say it's 8 stages. We might even be able to trigger the first bonus stage, which will give us an extra level. And so, yeah, we're going to just kind of rush through this game. Anyone that wants to see all the cutscenes, you can check out my Saturn stream. I actually have it linked in the description box below. And we actually played out all the cutscenes on that stream. I even turned the volume up for the cutscenes so you could actually really hear what was going on. So if you want to see all that stuff in a live stream setting like this, then go watch that archive later. Maybe click on it now, add it to your watch later list or something like that. But it is there for anybody that is curious about that. So I'm going to mute the mic here for a quick second. Give me a quick moment to do something real quick. Alright, so let's go through the chat real quick. I see Lawrence is out there, Aberdeen, Cedar Valley Gaming, Freddy Voorhees, Dasan. Let's see what else we got there. We got Gotcham, we got Master Cheese back again, and it looks like that is about it. Oh, Office was out there too, nice. Alright, so Cedar Valley says, dude, you are a streaming machine. This is 3 days in a row. Yeah, this is what happens when you don't drink, Cedar Valley. You can be productive. This is like new to me. Yeah, no, I've just been, I don't know what it is. I've just been motivated to stream more often, trying to knock out some things like this game right here, which I've been meaning to do for a little while. Try to get some things like, you know, under the belts and just behind me. And, so yeah. Dasan says, Raiden 5 options, 20 years early. Dasan says he's got a hard modded PS2 which plays everything. Very nice, man. Yeah, I'd like to do that for my PS2. That would be awesome. So, Gotcham says, don't tell me it's a solar Eclipse port. That's exactly what this is. Yeah, there are some subtle differences. There are some visual differences. Even the main menu here that you see, it's got music now. The Sega Saturn version does not have music, and I really like this. This is like a, you know, sort of like a variation on the main theme, so that's really cool. It's a nice addition. Overall, I think the Saturn version is the best way to play the game. It's got a more consistent frame rate. It also feels snappier, and it doesn't really slow down like the PlayStation version does. Also, I think the load times are a little bit faster. Some of the video quality might even be a little bit better on the Saturn version. But there are some interesting differences in this port, which is really cool. Like, again, the music overlay here, which is awesome. So it is a port, but there are some slight differences, which is awesome. All right. Lawrence says, hey, Austin, just caught your Jeff Carter stream. Hopefully I get to watch a little bit of this before I get to start playing with Elden Ring. Jeff Carter stream. Do you mean Elden Ring? I don't know what Jeff Carter is, Lawrence. But if you meant Elden Ring, then yeah, that game is awesome. So hopefully you enjoy that. And hey, Flynn, thank you very much for that as always. Dasan says, yep, when he drank, he never did... Thanks again, Flynn. I always gotta let that trigger go before we start, or before I talk. And Dasan says, yeah, LOL, when I drank, I've never did anything I've done more in the last 7 years than I did in the previous 15. Yeah. That's one of the things about alcohol, man, is if you drink constantly and you drink a lot, like you binge drink, you're not productive. You're lazy, you eat poorly, and your body just, you know, I don't know, your motivation and productivity just tanks completely. At least that's my experience, but that's an experience that I've heard from so many people that have drank very heavy. So yeah. But all right, let's go ahead and do play game. And like I said, we're just going to skip the cutscenes. We're going to get right into the gameplay and just try to go through this as quickly as possible. That little loading box, by the way, that's actually not in the Saturn version. I don't know why they decided to add a loading box, because this right here is also a load screen. Not really sure why they felt the need to add a load box, but yeah, it is. That's one of the differences. The controls also don't feel as snappy in this version, so that takes a moment to get used to. Now, because the PlayStation has 2 sets of shoulder keys, your speed up and slow down keys are actually on L2 and R2, which is cool. You could still do it the same way like you can in the Saturn. Like, you can press X to fire, speed up with circle, slow down with square, but it's a lot less convenient on the PlayStation controller layout because of how the buttons are angled. So what I recommend doing is using L2 and R2 to speed up and slow down. Now, L1 and R1 let you rotate, just like in the Saturn version of the game. And if you're like sideways, you can actually press L1 and R1 together and it'll auto-level yourself. So, very important. And because I actually haven't played this in a little while, it might take a little while for me to get the hang of the controls again. But yeah, so we actually have the scatter beam here, really good weapon. Obviously, as you can see, it scatters about. These guys with the lasers, those are actually lasers. You don't want to touch them. They'll do a lot of damage to you. And ideally, when you play this game, you want to be in constant motion if you can, because enemies just, they really have an easy time of targeting you. But yeah, very similar to the Saturn version of the game. I mean, it's the same level layouts and all that stuff. Now, I have not beaten this version of the game, so that'll be a first on, you know, this stream. It'll be my first time beating this version of the game. But I assume the rest of the game is pretty much identical. The first couple levels I've played are 100% basically the same in terms of level layout. But, you know, there are some visual differences. If you look at both versions side by side, you'll notice that some things look different. Especially, like, the polygonal objects. There are some bosses that are full polygon objects in this game. And, you know, because the PlayStation Saturn, they do 3D very different from one another. And, so you'll have polygonal objects that just look very different. It's cool. I like those differences. It makes going back to, you know, like a game that's been ported to multiple systems from back in the day, and just kind of analyzing them and seeing the changes or alterations. But yeah, it actually looks like the gameplay might be about the same in terms of like the speed, but the music itself is absolutely sped up. I think because of that 50 to 60 hertz difference. So basically, a screen's refresh rate in PAL regions is technically slower than it is in NTSC regions. So basically 50 frames a second versus 60 in North America or Japan. And so when you take a game that was meant to run at 50 FPS or 50 hertz refresh rate, you know, and you play it at, you know, on in a region that operates at 60 hertz, you get roughly like 13 to 15% of a speed increase. That's actually one reason why some, like, say, Sega Mega Drive games or Sega Genesis games felt faster than their European counterparts. Like Shadow of the Beast is a notorious example on the Genesis here in North America. Like, it was brought over here, not optimized for 60 hertz. So you had a 50 hertz game running at 60 hertz, so it ran 13 to 15% faster. And as such, I actually got used to it. I actually kind of prefer that version. This is just like a side rant or tangent at this point. But the point is, it wasn't optimized the way it was supposed to be, and it's faster than originally intended. And that's kind of like what this is like, playing the PAL version patched on my North American console. Now, the patches are supposed to, account for the 50-60 hertz difference, but for some reason on this game, it doesn't seem to be wanting to, I guess, apply the patch 100% correctly. So I'm just kind of living with it. Alright, so for those of you guys that have not played this game before, and ooh, look at that slowdown. Whew. Yeah, the Saturn version does not slow down like this. I'm gonna stop firing so we can speed things up a little bit. So for those of you guys that have not played this, if you look at those green vertical bars on the bottom, the left 5 bars, that's my shield meter. The right 4 bars, that's my weapon meter. And so each bar is another weapon level. And so my weapon is basically maxed out in firepower right now. Now, when my left shield bars run low, my weapon bars will get transferred over as, like, sort of reserve energy, and my weapon level will get downgraded again. It's a really nice mechanic, and it's pretty easy to get your weapon levels back up. There are firepower upgrades all over the place. Okay, so this is actually our boss right here, and I want to try to kill this thing as fast as possible. Whoops. And the reason for that is if we do it fast enough, we'll actually access a secret level. So let's see if we can do this. Oops, I keep pressing the wrong damn button. Alright, there's the first phase. Alright, third phase. And I think we did it. Let's see if it actually unlocks our bonus stage. Hey, Leo, welcome back. And Enigma. Okay, we got the undersea level. Very cool. Enigma asks, did the PS1 version of this game have the same sound problems as the Saturn game during the FMV sequences? What do you mean problems as the Saturn? I don't know what problems you're talking about. I don't remember hearing problems in the Saturn version. At least if we're talking the North American or NTSC version. Yeah, if you can clarify. I'd be interested to know what problems there are. Yeah, tons of slowdown in this level here on the PlayStation version. It's running really sluggish. Yeah, you kill a certain amount of enemies here, and you'll basically get yourself an extra life. Which is, honestly, it's a little redundant, because you only go up to 9 lives in this game. And by the end of this level, you'll probably end up having 9 lives. And the reason I say it's redundant is that this game dishes out extra lives like candy on Halloween. It's crazy how many extra lives you get in this. So getting tons of extra lives on this level doesn't really help you all that much unless you're like a total newbie. But if you're a total newbie, you're not going to be getting to this bonus level because you're probably not going to be killing that first boss as fast as I did. Basically, you have to kill the boss as quickly as possible within a certain time limit. I don't know what the threshold is on it, but it will qualify this bonus level here. So we're already up to 8 lives. Okay, so I don't know about the crackle. I've never heard crackle that makes audio inaudible. But I know what you mean about the maxed out volume levels. That does happen in certain cutscenes. Was that fixed in this version? I honestly have no idea. We can let a cutscene or two like play out for a few seconds. Usually it's at the very beginning of cutscenes when like your ships are flying through space and the music is just like banging. It's usually those moments where the audio levels are just completely peaked or maxed out. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about there, yeah. So, what's kind of cool is you have level passwords in this. I don't think you have passwords in the Saturn version. I think it's saving only, but this one gives you the option to use a level password or save to the memory card. Let's actually see if we have open space on this memory card. I actually have not used... I haven't checked what was on this memory card. Okay, it sounds like it's still the same.
Not exactly textbook flying stunt man. But the man's got style. I say he's a keeper.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's the same. It's probably the exact same video file, so I highly doubt that they altered those. Leo says, looked like a fun Jaguar stream yesterday. Bounced around a bit in the archive earlier. Oh, cool. Thanks, Leo. Alright, so you'll notice on the previous boss I was using missiles. And, this level gives you a lot of missiles.
I've got hostiles above and below. Talk about fast response. This kind of welcoming committee I don't need.
Enigma, you're talking about the game's ending. They talk about after you beat the game, and that was not glitched out when I streamed it a couple months ago. So, alright, so yeah, like I said, you can get a lot of these missiles back. So I went ahead and used them on that first boss, knowing that they'll be replenished here. Now we're gonna get maxed out on missiles, and then once I am ready to pick up another missile after I maxed out, I'll just start using them one by one. So I'm at 7 missiles, now we're at 8. Now we're at 9. By the way, these pink power-ups are health recharges. They come in various shapes and sizes. And I like that invisibility. It's an actual transparent effect in the PlayStation version. It's possible it was your Saturn that had issues, but the audio peaking is absolutely a problem in Solar Eclipse. 100%. That's just like baked in. But that specific cutscene, yeah, I mean, like I said, that's like the ending, and there is no or very little background music on that. So for that to be garbled or messed up in some way, there's, yeah, got to be some other issue going on there.
I'm tracking CNC transmission, 15 clicks ahead, current vector. Let's go.
This is a homing projectile. Pretty useful. I do like it. There are parts where it's better to use other weapons, but, you know, for a good bit of the game, this is a really fantastic weapon. See, like, there's another little tutorial right there. It says tactic, you know, shoot this thing to stop its rotation. So it's good leaving your communications on. And you really don't want to run into walls in this game. You can die almost instantly if you do that. And it's not necessarily like it's because you just slammed into a wall. What happens is, it's almost like a Subterranea effect from Sega Genesis, where when you run into a wall, it's just the way the physics are handled. You'll just constantly almost like get stuck on it, and then just rapidly lose shield energy to the point to where you die. So try not to go head first into a wall. Is there any way to get this game working on an American PS2 or PS3? I have no idea. I'm not very familiar with PS2 or PS3 modding. It's entirely possible you might be able to jailbreak a PS3 and run it via, you know, a jailbroken system. PlayStation 2, I don't think there's really any way of doing that. As far as I'm aware, there's no way to load PlayStation 1 games from, like, a hard drive or something like that on a PS2. There is a soft mod on PlayStation 2. Man, what was it called? It was, I forgot. I watched a video about it a few weeks back. Requires a free McBoot memory card, but it also will allow you to load game ISOs off the off like an SD card. I think it's a memory card you buy that has an SD card slot in it. So you basically use free McBoot, and then you swap cards, and then you boot into the SD card, and then you can load PS2 ISOs off of it. I don't think that works with PS1 ISOs, but don't quote me on it, because like I said, I'm not too familiar with PS2 and PS3 modding. And if anyone else knows, feel free to chime in. For people that don't have a PS1 and like a flashed Goldfinger, I would just recommend just downloading the ISO of this and then just playing via emulation. You know, get a PS1 emulator and just play it through that. The good thing about that is you'll get the proper frame rate as opposed to the, you know, 50 hertz running on a 60 hertz console. But I realize it's not ideal for people that want to use real hardware like I am right now. Another option is to just get a PlayStation console. You know, the original PlayStation is not expensive. Be it, you know, the original fat models with the parallel ports in the back, or a PS1 model. You can this soft mod will actually work on a PlayStation system that doesn't have a parallel port. It's just something else you have to do. I think you end up flashing a memory card or something like that. But since I've got a Goldfinger with a parallel port on my PlayStation, I flashed the Goldfinger. It was just easier for me. So anyone that really wants to play some of these European games on a North American system, maybe just consider getting a PlayStation console instead of relying on a PS2. They're not very expensive. It's only one of the best systems, or one of the best-selling systems of all time. So they're still a dime a dozen. I guess prices have gone up a little bit, but they're still pretty affordable compared to things like a Saturn. Alright, so this is Sponge. Wow, this effect looks weird in this version. So this is basically like you slam into objects and you'll actually get health back. That's why it's called Sponge. So when you get that power up, just run into everything you see and you'll pretty much get all of your health back. It's kind of nice. I missed a health upgrade there. Now, a lot of the flying enemies are just 2D objects, and what I did find in this version is that the collision detection, it feels different than the Saturn version. Like, you don't mow through them, like big groups of the 2D enemies, as quickly as you do in the Saturn version. Alright, this is our boss fight. Having the homing projectile works pretty well here, because you can kind of just dodge his projectiles, but have your homing do the work for you. More health, let's grab that. Don't want to lose my weapons. Since I actually have not beaten this version of this game yet, I'm actually very curious if we're going to encounter some crazy difficulty spike later that you might not see in the Saturn version. Got him. Oh, his leg still hurt me. Hey, Boston Burf, and Michael, and Ronan, and Carl. Let's go ahead and save it.
May not like your mood, but I don't hear Hopscotch complaining.
Ronan, yeah, no, he was talking about playing PS1 games on it. I know you can soft mod a PS2 to play PS2 games, but will it also play PS1 games from other regions? And from what I understand, that was always the big issue, is like, yeah, you know, there's been ways for a while to play PS2 games from other regions, but not PS1 games.
You're on a roll, stunt man. Age before beauty.
No further contact with the colonists.
If you can try it sometime and let us know down the road, that would be cool. I'll also try to look into it, but I know I looked into it in the past, and at the time it wasn't possible, but that was several years ago at this point. You know, thankfully myself, I already have multiple PS1 consoles, so it's not really a huge deal. And honestly, I'd rather play my PlayStation 1 games on an actual PlayStation 1 because compatibility is not perfect on the PlayStation 2, and you do have slight visual alterations when running PS1 games on PS2 hardware. So if I can play the PS1 games 100% the way they were intended to, then I'll just do that. That's preferred for capturing and stuff like that. But if I can get them working on a PS2 system without having to bust out my PS1, I mean, that's super convenient. Because there are nights where, like, I'll do a lot of PS1 and PS2 shmups or something like that. And I've got a bunch of games between both North American and Japanese regions. And so being able to just play them all in the same console without having to swap would be convenient.
Hopscotch and I are on the far side of Tethys.
Who says prayers aren't answered? How about praying for a way underground, numbnuts?
Cut the chatter.
Alright, so we're basically on level 3. Making pretty good progress already.
Roger, you want point, stuntman?
Affirmative. Drop back and see how it's done.
Tactic cannot be destroyed.
But yeah, while I recommend the Saturn version of this game if you're going to really try to get into it, this is still a good version of the game. It's still a good game. And so if you're in the European region and you don't have a Saturn, but you were kind of interested in what I showed off in that version, you know, you can get this on PlayStation. It's cool. I'm glad it came out on PlayStation. And it's always been a curiosity to me that I haven't been able to really check out until recently. Because until recently, I haven't really had a way of playing these Euro games on a North American console. Oh, look at that. I didn't think this weapon came till a little bit later. Ooh, just missed invincibility. This is kind of a long level too, by the way. A lot of gimmicks introduced here. You got these things that basically like blow up and cause sort of like a flashbang effect. And see, she just mentioned rolling 90 degrees, so we're going to actually have to do that here coming up. So that rolling mechanic I kind of showed off earlier, we're going to actually have to do it now.
Flying solo, stuntman.
Actually kind of wish I still had my homing projectiles. This weapon is powerful, but it's also kind of hard to hit enemies with it sometimes. Whoops.
I'm 5v1. That's 5-on-1.
Cobra, this is Raven. Break off your attack. Repeat, separate and return.
Flame out times 2. Heading for the deck. Check it out, man. Woodstock, stay with me.
Negative. On my 6. Break it
Alright,
off.
I'm going to skip over to the, or switch over to the scatter.
Fucker factor is off the scale.
Cobra, get your team out of there. Hit my main line. Losing oil pressure.
My rudder is gone. I'm heading for ground zero.
No, it's not me, Cobra. It's on.
And a couple people just died.
I got it.
Spoiler alert, just about everybody dies in this game, except for 2 characters. Let's come over here. No, not much. Not much over there. I need to stay in constant motion. I'm losing a lot of health. And again, when my health bar gets down to its last block, my weapon energy will transfer over as health. And I kind of don't want that to happen. Oops. Oh, jeez. I don't think I'm supposed to go through that tight little patch there. Oh well.
Sounds like white team didn't make it.
They got jumped too fast. Must have been an ambush.
Let's expect the same. Pitbull and Hopscotch have been out of contact for a while. We should pick them up again once we go underground.
If they're breathing.
Always a big if. Let's go.
Alright.
Cavern entrance is coming up.
Second half.
Confirmed.
Could use some weapon upgrades now. Oh, there's gonna be one. And is this another? Yep, very nice. This is usually an upgrade. Yep, that's invincibility.
Invincible.
Another scatter, very good. Missiles. So yeah, so the red shield is invincibility. So when I get invincibility, I'll basically just kind of go straight through and just slam into enemies left and right. That's homing. Would have been nice to have that, but actually scatter's probably better right now. One tactic in this version of the game is to be constantly firing, because it causes slowdown and makes it easier to react to firepower coming your way.
Double shield energy.
Whoa there. These are some nasty spikes.
20 clicks east from your position.
And it's just a little thing. We'll have this thing blown up in no time.
Invincibility, let's grab that. Alright, got it.
Invincible.
Closing.
Lead. Hold your fire. The damn thing's absorbing your shots. It's getting bigger.
Let's grab that. I want to keep as much health as I can, because I don't want to lose my weapons again.
I made it, but I'm in a side tunnel.
Should be using my missiles when I see another missile pick up, like that right there. There's no reason not to. Like, you don't, it's not like you get points in this game. And it's like, ooh, all the missiles you have on hand will get calculated as end-of-level bonus or something. It doesn't work like that. There is no score in this game. I do wish there was score. Just to add some replay value. Having a scoring system always gives at least a little bit of replay value. Because it incentivizes you to kill as much as you can. Whereas this right here, with how it's playing, it's like I could just skip most of the enemies if I wanted to. You know, Total Eclipse on 3DO and PlayStation, it did have a scoring system, so it was more of an arcadey kind of game, where this is definitely more like... This honestly has more in common with modern games, with how, like, the story progresses in the game itself. Whereas Total Eclipse is just like a straightforward arcadey experience. Alright, boss time. Wow, that was fast. Jeez. That was really fast. Isn't there some kind of score / ranking in the bonus rounds? Not that I'm aware of, no. So some bonus rounds do, like, calculate how many things you kill. And all that is like you hit a certain threshold and you get an extra life or something like that. It's not really scoring, you know? Ronan says, I'm staying home from work because I'm sick. Perfect time to catch your stream. Very nice. Well, the being sick part's not very nice. I hope you feel better. But thanks for tuning in. Makes me glad that I went live, because some of you guys could actually use some entertainment right now. Hey Mark, welcome back. I'd say this level is probably where the difficulty starts increasing. A lot of turrets in this area. It also gets dark. Slammed into that wall. Don't want that to happen. We're doing pretty well in lives. We haven't actually died yet, which is good, but trust me when I say we will most certainly die later on in the playthrough. Now, when your weapon energy is maxed out, picking up the same weapon again is not going to do anything, so you can just ignore them. Unless you want to switch weapons, but I don't really want to switch weapons. Switching might actually be handy right here, because I'm noticing these flying enemies, they flutter all over the place. Okay, got cloaking, although these guys are still going to shoot at me. It looks like they don't actually aim straight for me when I've got cloaking. It's kind of like Doom, where projectiles will go in different directions as opposed to straight towards you. Speaking of Doom, we're probably going to do a classic Doom stream again in the next, probably next week, maybe. Hell, maybe even tomorrow. Where we're gonna play the original Xbox version of Doom on the Doom 3 Collector's Edition. I'd actually thought about doing that the other night, but I did Elden Ring instead. Aberdeen! Stop asking me that. Thank you.
talking about active pursuit.
You already know the answer, and I know you're being funny, but no, stop it.
Raven, these caves are a bitch. Maestro is separated. Can't find a path.
Oh no, he said the B word. This game is so edgy. I know my 13-year-old self would have actually thought that. Like, man, whoa, he said the B word. You never hear that in video games. I remember back in the 90s when, like, cursing was a new thing. You never heard people curse in games. And so, like, whoa! My games are no longer super kiddie anymore, like... Oh, shit. I almost slammed into that wall. He goes, point taken. Thank you, Aberdeen. And thanks for not getting offended by that. Some people get offended by me telling them to be like, stop asking me that. I've got too many other games to play, Aberdeen. Like, I'm probably not going to be doing Fact Xanadu again for a while. Trust me, I'd like to, but yeah, it's going to be a while.
When you crack your canopy, come talk to me.
So I kind of didn't really want my homing projectile, although I guess it's good against some of these turrets. Oh, I missed a health upgrade. Not good. Alright, there's another one. Good. So I'm kind of low on health. I'd like to not be low on health.
Double shield energy.
Red team, Telcom is broken orbit and is heading into
Nice.
space.
Ooh, that was close.
50 clicks plus
Some close calls here. Alright, good deal. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, Mark, I remember playing Fact Xanadu at your place, and then one of my other best friends from the time, he also had Fact Xanadu, and that's where I played it even more. So yeah, that game definitely holds a special place for me.
Yes, sir.
Definitely what I'd call a personal favorite on the NES. She thinks scatter might be better for this part. This does feel noticeably faster on this section. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, gameplay-wise, this is like much faster. This is noticeably faster than the areas with polygons. You know, with walls and floors. Yeah, so the game is definitely running faster. It's funny how the regular levels with, you know, floors and ceilings and whatever, they don't feel faster because I guess the frame rate's just slower to begin with on those parts. It's more processing power required of the PlayStation. Yeah, this is super fast right now. I need some health refills, people. Come on. Well, one strategy is to just slam into something, energy transfer, and then just pick up weapons to get your weapon energy back. And of course, now there's some health refills. But yeah, so now I'm maxed out on weapon power again, but I got all my health back. Oh, Vegas was a dick anyway, you know. He's probably better cut in half. Ooh, yeah. I kind of like it when it slows down, because then it feels more like a 60 hertz game. It feels more manageable.
Okay, come in.
I feel like I really need to just be in constant motion here. The second I stop is when I start taking damage.
I'm here. My nav computer is leaking smoke. I've lost my bearing. Looks like I'm out of it.
Boss time, perhaps?
Supercharged.
Chivalry, it is legit.
Tactic. Shift to interrupt attack formation.
Oh, they drop health in this. I don't think they drop health in the Saturn version. This is a pretty tough boss fight.
Energy transferred.
Not good. Not good at all. Ugh. That sucks big time. Hey, Kevin. What's going on, man? Feel like I haven't seen you here in a while. Hope you're doing well.
Supercharged.
Oh, man. You gotta be kidding me. There's no weapon upgrade here.
Tactic.
Oh, jeez.
To interrupt attack formation.
Yeah, this is gonna be rough. Just got my basic laser and that's it. I don't even know if dodging really does a whole lot here. I mean, of course it does. It's just that I can't really hit this guy because I don't have a weapon that spreads out. Yeah, this might be a problem. Maybe what I should do here is just kind of like... Well, I was going to say stay away, but apparently that doesn't even work. It'd be awesome if, like, these guys draw some health pickups again. That'd be great. Health pickup. Okay. Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me, dude. So I kind of realized that, like, the enemies will fly out a little bit when they're gonna do a laser attack at you. If you're here, you're usually lurking. You should at least say hello, Kevin. Just working, doing all right.
Supercharge.
Right, well, we might be able to get this now that I'm kind of figuring out the pattern. I'm treating this like it's Elden Ring. Or I have to actually learn boss fights.
Tactic. Shoot, shift.
Hey, Steve-O, welcome back.
Attack formation.
One of the issues with a fight like this is that you'll notice that you don't have a lot of control over the angle of your shot. It's like either it's very steep or it's just straight ahead. And so that makes hitting smaller enemies like this kind of difficult. God, stop doing that attack. Come on. It's like when they do this attack, I have to move, otherwise I take a ton of damage. And I can't take a ton of damage.
Energy transfer.
It's like I don't feel like there's any way to dodge that attack either. Health. More health. That attack does so much damage. Now the game's speeding up like crazy, because there's not much else happening on screen. Can't even see what's going on, it's so fast. Oh, this is rough. It's like they give me that, but they don't give me a weapon to go with it. So I gotta do this whole boss fight with no special weapon. So I think what I'm gonna try this time is just do exactly what I did before, except save my missiles for the last part. When things just go stupid fast. It'd actually be really cool if, you know, sometimes they drop weapon energy. Why don't you have them drop a weapon sometimes? That'd be nice. That laser doesn't even look like it should be able to hit me. It's like your basic laser is powerful, it's just actually being able to hit the enemies with it is what's hard.
Energy transferred.
Trying to move around in circles. And they're not dropping any health at all. And it seems like whether they drop health is just completely random. I can't even tell if I'm hitting these guys. It's like, come on. Alright, start using my missiles. Health. Thank you. We did it. Oh, we did it. Yeah, saving the missiles for the end was a good idea. Man, what a pain in the ass. So I guess the idea is for me to, you know, actually know the boss pattern and play the way I just did, but with an actual weapon. Man, that was seriously rough. Oh, man. Yeah, this music's normally fast to begin with. Now it's like ultra fast. It sounds goofy. Oh, man. Yes, we're over halfway through the game. Yeah, starting here with no weapons is also kind of rough, too.
Radiation here is tagged.
Watch out for his bunkers.
Jeez, these guys are so hard to hit. You kind of want to stay low in this area.
No sign of that transport yet. Continuing scan.
Roger.
Alright, invincibility.
Invincible.
Alright, we want to stay slow here. That way you can figure out the spike patterns. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Woo! Alright, I don't want that. I'd rather have scatter. Alright, so I'm gonna have to listen out. This is one of the levels where, like, they start telling you, oh, go this way or don't go this way.
Transmission beam is on our comm frequency. It's tapping our communications. Everybody switch to channel Blue Delta.
Stay slow here. I do like the spike element in this game. These things look very threatening. Total Eclipse on 3DO and PlayStation didn't really have a whole lot of things like that, and so I don't know. The game felt kind of bland overall. It's still fun, but kind of bland. This feels this is a lot more interesting. Especially with these sections that, like, really force you to, you know, slow down and kind of analyze the terrain. Should be more missiles. Those pointy-looking buildings are always missile pickups.
Tactic. Fires tracking missiles. Stay low. Energy
Damn,
transferred.
lost my weapon.
Guidable.
Picking up a jumbo. Slow moving, but it's gotta be the target. Returning to regroup.
Oh, nice. Got all my weapon energy back. That's good.
I don't think that transport spotted me.
Good, let's stick together on this one. Show us the way, Digger.
Roger.
Alright, gonna skip that. I don't need it. What do we have here? Another one. Not really what I want. And another one. I'd rather have scatter at this point, or a different weapon, like homing. Okay, there we go. The reason for preferring scatter is that, like, I don't have to aim as accurately, because my weapon literally scatters about. Jeez, man. So much action here. Okay, whew, got lucky there.
Cave entrance ahead. I'm going in.
Alright, so I think this is where they're going to start telling us to go left or right. So I have to listen out.
Follow me left.
Yep. Follow me left, she said. Bearing left.
Bearing right.
Bearing right. So if you don't have the communication on the comm unit, then you're not gonna hear that.
Bearing right.
Bearing right. If I take the opposite directions, they'll lead to a dead end.
Top man, I'm picking up a colony survey.
There's no way to turn around.
First one we've seen.
Alright, so this guy right here, he's like a plot element.
Who the hell is that? Hey! I'm taking hits on my ass quarter.
Purified by the heat of the light. The smoke you see.
He's gonna get ahead of her, she's gonna try to chase him, and she'll die because she runs into a dead end.
Keep down this tunnel. I'm gonna put a hole in this guy.
Rendezvous with us immediately.
No place to land. I can't turn around. Don't take the bottom tunnel. It's dead. What did you do, you crazy bastard? Let me go nail him, stuntman. I'll catch up with you before you.
Negative. We don't have time. I want him too, Hellcat, but personal objectives come second. Now follow me in. Let's take down the weapon transport.
Fine, but if I see him, I'll shoot him.
Some of these bogies use radar only. Stay low and they won't see.
Alright, this is the last section of this level, I believe, and then we'll go to the boss fight.
Raven, I've spotted it. Observation craft. Bearing 019er.
Phantom, come around to close this back door. Cobra, intercept the beam.
Ooh. Took some damage there.
Double shield energy.
I'm on it, 6 Raven.
I switched to this weapon because I noticed some of these enemies are very tanky. Like those guys right there in particular. And they also drop missiles, apparently. Sometimes. So I want to try to pick up as many missiles as I can. Ooh, extra life. I actually need that now because I died so many times on that boss.
Stuntman, break left. Hot zone ahead.
Watch out for hidden bunkers. I almost got sucker punched by one.
I'm just gonna try to speed through this section. Oh, nice. Mega charge, or super charge, whatever they call it. Alright, missile upgrade. Back to 3, that's good. Alright, cloak. So I'm just gonna kind of run through here. Hopefully these guys don't target me. Invincibility.
Invincible.
You whip through those bogies like you've done it 100 times before.
Just doing what comes naturally.
Jeez.
I'm picking up that colonist again. Ahead 3 clicks and holding.
Great, this isn't good. Having to use all my missiles so I don't lose my weapon. Nope, just lost my weapon.
Stuntman.
You're gonna have to hold your course.
Guidable.
Did I mention this game can get hard?
Tactic.
Yeah, I had a feeling we were going to be at this boss. This is terrible, being here with such low health and weapon energy.
To broadside it, stuntman.
We died a bunch on the last stream of this game at this boss, so we'll see what happens here. Office just finished 100%ing Mario Sunshine. Very nice. Leo is trying to do that too. I don't know if he just finished it or what, but he's been talking about that too. Damn, that's not good.
Energy transferred. Double shield energy.
It's like he's shooting out at some kind of projectile and I can't even see it.
Double shield energy.
Got some crazy targeting, man. What the hell? Sponge. Okay, sponge does not work on the ground, unfortunately, apparently. Okay, we did it. First try. Jeez. That had me stressed out. That's one of the hardest bosses in the game. Oh, Leo did finish Sunshine. Okay, cool. Oh man, looks like it's raining outside now. It was cloudy earlier, but it wasn't... My weather app didn't say it was calling for rain, but whatever.
Okay, split up and stay focused.
Alright, homing. Thanks, Mark.
Tactic. Steer craft into canyon walls.
Extra life. Back up to 8 lives.
Nothing yet. Culprit, report.
Negative, Raven. Heavy opposition, but no sensor array. Continuing search.
Oh, nice supercharge. Hell yeah. Now my homing is a little more useful. Okay, so now I have to follow him as well.
These side cars are nasty. If they get an angle on you, drive it into a cliff.
Enemy squadron coming in from the left. Get ready.
Sponge.
Yeah, the sponge effect looks really weird in this version.
Coming in on the right. Let's take them.
Reminds me of some kind of like low color effect you'd see on a Sega Genesis game.
Right. 10 degrees.
Yeah, he wants me to go right. Alright, sponge.
17 degrees.
He says left. Can barely see what I'm doing because of the sponge. The sponge shield.
I've seen worse flying, stuntman.
Cobra, this is Kelt. I've spotted the array. It's heading into space, probably towards Mimas.
I copy. Breaking orbit. Let's go, stuntman. Yes, sir.
Alright, back into space. Finally, we can get some missiles back.
You with us, Raven?
Although I'm going to want to try to switch weapons if I can. If I remember correctly, I think this boss
Roger.
can avoid the homing projectiles.
Target is on Mimas. Once we clear this field, we're going in.
I copy, Cobra. We're behind you. Scanners are losing sync. Interference from Saturn. Recalibrating.
Yeah, on an NTSC system, this runs so much faster than it's probably supposed to. It's kind of jarring, actually, so... And for people thinking about trying to do what I'm doing, playing this on an actual NTSC console, just be warned about these sections. Jeez. I hate those lasers. It's like I can't do anything about them.
Look sharp, stuntman. We're getting close. Right with you, Cobra.
Phew. Okay. Back on the surface. For some reason I confused that for another level with the space boss.
Get out if it kills me. Live heroes are better than dead ones, Cobra. And they're more fun than victory parties. I'm gonna take everything I have to knock out that cannon. After that, I'll have to drop back. And I get to clean up. And get the kill shot. Either of us is worth the boost we end up getting. See you at the party.
Don't want that. Don't want that. Missile, that's good. I need it. Don't want that. Huh. Killed that enemy and he was way up in the air, so I missed the power up. Go ahead and switch over to tracking. Might help a little bit. Might not. But we'll try.
Invincible.
Alright, another tracking. Yeah, there was like a silver structure up there I'm not used to seeing, and it dropped an extra life. Praise be the slowdown. The slowdown's actually helping me a lot.
Tactic. Follow objective for safe route.
Follow the objective for a safe route.
I have a visual. Targeting. That's it. The main gun is down. Dropping back. It's your turn, Sunset. Wait, it's firing secondary batteries. I'm hit. Starboard wing is gone. I'm going down. Major, we lost Cobra.
Dunman, we're sitting ducks as long as that array is still online. Do whatever it takes.
Homing seems to work pretty well right here. You got it. Nice.
Mission objective destroyed.
It kept making my main shot sound effect even though I wasn't actually shooting. That was weird. Alright, so we're second to last mission, I believe.
This is your wake-up call. Multiple targets ahead.
Yeah, in this level we actually end up in space for the boss fight. You see Saturn in the background. I think I might try to hold on to my tracking here. If I start struggling, I'll switch weapons.
This was protection. Iris must be ahead.
An extra life? We're already maxed out, so it didn't really do us any good. Alright, still making progress. Oh, missed the invisibility. Or cloaking, as they call it. Alright, we're maxed out on missiles.
I'm picking up a large energy source below. We're on the right track. Iris is on the move. Contact has changed course and is accelerating.
Yeah, the homing seems to be really helping me out here. So it seems like a good weapon to have on this level. Oh, missed some health. I need that. Quality slowdown. Ow. I want to see that fire that comes out of the ground or the lava. I think it actually hurts you.
Iris has gone underground. Everybody regroup. Need to find this thing before it leaves Phoebe. I'll peel off and check parallel tunnels. Call in if you find the target and do not engage.
Just don't pull a Magellan act on us, Major.
Not your concern. Okay, Hellcat, stick with Stuntman. Stay in touch.
Alright, good. Got some health back.
Getting mixed readings on target's position. It's jamming my scanners.
Copy that.
Actually, we'll go ahead and switch over to scatter, because I'm not sure if I'm going to get anything else on the boss area. I missed that missile pickup. Yep, there's another one. You know, I just realized a lot of people die in this game because they simply don't listen. The leaders are like, no, don't do that, don't do that, and then they go ahead and they do it anyway. It's stupid character syndrome, like you see in a lot of horror movies. Officers gotta love slowdown. It's childhood visualized. The slowdown actually helps in this, you know. Solid frame rate's preferred, but the sluggishness does actually allow you more time to respond. Oh, you know, I just realized I wasn't paying attention, but the voice track is actually out of sync with the actual video. I think that's just a PAL to NTSC difference. Oops. Or a PAL to NTSC issue, I should say. Yeah, I do not want homing, 'cause if I remember correctly, homing just doesn't even work on the boss. Whoa there. Yeah, this could be bad. Well, I've got my health back.
I'm picking up another contact. Smaller. That'd be me, Major. That colonist blew out all my scanners, then took off. I'm flying blind.
I just got smashed by these rocks. This is really bad.
7 minutes at full burn.
I need some weapons, man.
Don't confuse the engine of God with the hand of God.
There he is. If I had just one tracking missile.
And don't confuse the hand of God with God himself.
Great. This is gonna be the same situation as the last boss we just fought. This is a PAL game, Mark, yes. This was not released in North America on PlayStation. More information's in the description box. Anyone wondering, please check that. Yes! We got it! Okay. We're not completely screwed yet.
Detected. Target enemy target.
Hard to tell what you're actually supposed to hit here. In the Saturn version, I think there are more color differences that allow you to know like what you're supposed to be aiming for. I think now we're gonna go inside. Actually, that's next. It's not this phase. There we go. That's it. First try. Good.
Mission objective destroyed.
I was wondering to myself if they were gonna checkpoint me at the part that gave me a weapon and then the max energy. Thankfully, we didn't have to find out. Alright, last level, I believe.
We haven't destroyed. Let's win this one.
I'd rather go out on a win.
Dragon.
Every target left in the system is here. It's gotta be Iris below.
Iris let me live to spread the word. She's a pal too, but she turned on him. And now she's spreading the word anyway.
Yeah, those lasers are the worst because they do tons of damage. And it seems like the collision detection is not great on them. Like, you'll take a hit even when it doesn't look like you should.
I've got a good fix on Iris. The outer signature is a clear match. It's Iris, all right.
Better be. We can't afford even one more wrong turn.
Follow me down.
Alright, next part. Anyone just joining us, this is the final level. And then we're pretty much done. Like I said, this was going to be a relatively short stream, although, funny enough, I was expecting to beat this game in like an hour to an hour and a half. It actually turns out it is over, well, not over, but it's close to 2 hours of gameplay, start to finish. Add an extra 30 to 50 minutes for the full motion video cutscenes. Remember there being some really difficult stuff here later on in the level, but we'll see what goes on, or what happens. Since we did the Saturn playthrough a couple months ago, not even, I should still have some of this, like, you know, fresh in my memory. I remember one of the last really difficult parts, you want to just kind of, like, take the right side path. So I'll try to recognize that and hopefully do it on the first try. I think I might, well, I was going to say maybe switch back to scatter if it lets me. There it is.
Steady, Stuntman. His ship's more maneuverable. Don't let him sucker you into chasing it through the tunnel.
No worries, Major.
Ah, okay. Yeah, now we have doors that open and shut on their own. Yeah, switch back to homing. Come on, guys, hit me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember, when you absorb projectiles when you have the sponge shield. So it's a way of getting your health back.
Ignore him, Stuntman. He's just baiting us. He won't. That crazy bastard got a snapshot on me. I've lost my starboard pylon. I'm dropping back.
Oh, that hurt. That was my mistake.
If we just keep ignoring this guy, he'll...
We have to keep going.
I understand that, Major, but avoiding him is more distracting than taking him out.
He wants us to follow him away from our goal, and we aren't going to let him. Now, I've lost a pylon, so you go ahead. I'll guard you from behind and back you up when you need it.
Yes, sir.
Alright, lack of lights here. You need to blow these things up to see where you're going. Go ahead and switch back over to scatter. Alright, got some health back. It's good. Alright, for this we can guide our way through the lasers. Alright. Gotta turn around here. This is a little tricky. There's some parts like that later on that remind me of Batman Returns on Sega CD, where it's kind of ridiculous and a little much. Don't need that. Okay, slow down. Can't see where I'm going. Alright, hopefully this is a checkpoint.
Iris is in some kind of launch tube that extends all the way to the surface. If it makes it out, we don't have the fuel to run it down. It's now or never.
In more ways than one.
These caves are tangled up and filled with dead ends. We're gonna have to make quick decisions, so I'll go out in front to navigate. Follow close.
That's tough. Alright, I'm gonna go this way. And slow down. Just barely. Wow. Yeah, this is one of the last sections. It's pretty tough. Alright, we're gonna take the right path here. There's a crazy door puzzle in the middle path. I died to it so many times on my last stream of the Saturn version. Uh-oh. Wow, I still got through that. That's crazy. Using these shoulder keys is still throwing me off a little bit. I mean, it's not that it's just shoulder keys, it's that it's two sets of shoulder keys that I'm using right now, whereas the Saturn version just has one set. And I'm using all four shoulder keys as I play here. Some of the enemy projectiles curve around too. It's like almost like they home in slightly. All right.
Welcome home, Major. Last dance.
I'm hit. Port flame out. Losing oil pressure.
Can you keep it together?
I don't think so, Stuntman. It's up to you.
Major, what's your name? Your first name?
Delaney Kelt.
It's just you and me. Last dance.
All right, so I gotta follow this guy, otherwise I run into a dead end. I have no idea where he went. Okay, there he is. Phew. Lucky. He's so far ahead of me, I can't really see where he's going sometimes. Don't know where he went. Okay, I think he's up here. Yeah, alright. Alright, I guess that's it.
I'm yours.
Okay, could you die already? Jeez, man, I just keep getting nailed by his projectiles. Alright, that's it. Unfortunately, I lost my weapon.
Go to hell.
We should get some more power-ups here. Nice. This is pretty much the final boss now. It's not giving me scatter. Alright, unfortunately I'm not maxed out on firepower.
Tactic. No data available. File corrupted.
Tricky pattern here. There we go. Trying to hit the part that's blinking. I thought the top was blinking. Maybe it's his arms. Let's see. Remember in the Saturn version, there was definitely some weirdness to this boss fight. Maybe it's just the middle.
Energy transferred.
No, it's his arms. Oh, I died. He shot me and I died. Oops.
Tactic.
I get to do this with no weapons.
Available. File corrupted.
Whoops. Nice of it to give me some weapon energy. I don't even know how you're supposed to avoid those homing missiles. Alright, any day now. And we did it. Oh, man.
I don't know if you can hear me, Major, but Iris is dead. So is that crazy colonist. So are you, for all I know. As for me, I'm out of fuel, oxygen, and luck. I'm about out of time. In case there's a colony receiver station out there, this is Lieutenant Jake Cross. Last survivor, the UNS Thomason. For the record, first man to land on Saturn.
Very touching, stuntman.
Major?
I guarantee you that sad little speech will be the source of great embarrassment for many years to come.
Where are you?
Right behind you. I limped over to what's left of Facility 17 and found an intact cargo ship. Brace yourself for a tractor.
I never thought you'd be the one saving my life.
Neither did I. I spoke to Central. They're gonna blame me for what happened to Alpha Wing. I face an inquiry when we get back.
So they'll bust you down to lieutenant. At least you're still alive.
That's what happened to you over Havana, isn't it? They tied your hands and made you take the rap for it. Turns out that I'm on the same road as you, only 5 years before.
Major. Doesn't hurt to smile.
Well, it's 4 weeks till we rendezvous with the Edinburgh. You think that's enough time to teach me how to weather this upcoming storm?
You just focus on your real objective. To protect people. Cost you a stripe, it cost others their lives. But we got Iris. And that's what we came for.
Iris. Calling Charlotte. I have sustained permanent thermal damage. You must combat the Earth Command and Control Grid alone. UNS Tomlinson is destroyed, but UNS Edinburgh is en route. Destroy it at first contact and continue to Earth for final objective.
Oh, man. Alright. Well, guys, that was Titan Warriors for PlayStation. Hopefully you enjoyed the playthrough. Some parts went a little bit smoother than our Saturn playthrough recently. And, yeah, it's cool. Another game knocked off the list here. It says Solar Eclipse. PlayStation credits. Oh, man. It's almost as if like they intended to release it over here in North America. They still have the Solar Eclipse name in there. That's crazy. Oh, and this wasn't even done by Crystal Dynamics. PlayStation version by Numerical Design. Very interesting. Okay. So this version was contracted out to another developer. That is quite interesting. I did not know that. Right, so it doesn't look like there's any information on this game in general on the cutting room floor. But that's, wow, very interesting. I did not know this was actually converted by a different company than Crystal Dynamics. Yeah, so that is a code to unlock a secret level. And there are a bunch of secret levels. I assume it's got all the secret levels from the Saturn version. So it's kind of fun. For anybody wondering, I did show those off on the Saturn version stream. But yeah, I mean, it's still a good version of the game. I think the slowdown's kind of a bummer, but you know, to be fair, it does actually kind of help you sometimes, because some of the later parts of the game can get pretty challenging. But that is pretty much it, guys. I don't really have a whole lot else to say. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the playthrough. Again, in the description box, I've got a link to my Saturn playthrough for anybody that's curious about that, if you want to watch that. I even have a really, really old Let's Play of the game from like 10 years ago. Probably don't recommend watching that, but it is still there for anybody that's curious. Yeah, we're pretty much done here. So again, that was Titan Wars, the PlayStation version. PAL version played on an NTSC console, so there were definitely some issues with that, but yeah, we made it through the whole game. Didn't take us too long, a little over 2 hours. And Austin, that's false. That's just a poor generalization. Brandon, thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. And Leo says, hey, it was fun seeing this one again. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, Leo. Yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks everybody for hanging out. People that have done super chats recently, I will have these slides updated on the next stream. These last couple streams, I just haven't had the time to get them together, but thanks to everyone that has been supporting and pitching in. It definitely helps out here, especially as it pertains to acquiring titles like this game. This was not a cheap import for me. So that's another reason why I wanted to knock out this stream, is this game was not cheap, and I don't like buying, I mean, also, it depends on any game. You can't just make, like, you know, broad stroke generalizations like that, unless you've experienced the majority of both libraries. Just, it's not even wise to make statements like that, unless you've got the experience. Some Saturn games load instantly, others take a long time. Same with PlayStation, it just depends on the game. And it's not like, ooh, the PlayStation can load games faster than the Saturn. It doesn't work like that. So, less comments like that, people. Come on, let's all use our heads here. Brains are good. It's good using those brains. I like using my brain sometimes. I didn't use it much in this playthrough, but but yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, this game was not cheap to acquire. I think if you're in Europe, it's probably a lot cheaper, but if you're trying to import it from the US, they don't pop up on eBay too often, so it's a little bit harder to obtain. But, so yeah, it's another reason why I wanted to knock out this stream. It's like, I bought this expensive game. It's like, I needed to do something with it other than just, you know, play it a little bit. But, yeah. Fun version of the game. If you're over there in Europe, I do recommend checking it out. If you don't have access to a Saturn, I do still think the Saturn version's better. More consistent frame rates. The controls are snappier. Mark, no. I think your last super chat was many months ago. Unless you did one just recently, but I don't think you did. So let me check my list. I don't leave people's names on there forever, otherwise the list will just... Okay, yeah. Mark, also, open your ears. I just literally said 5 seconds ago, I don't have these updated from the last couple of streams. So my Jaguar stream and my Elden Ring stream, anyone that did super chats on those streams, or joined up as a channel member, you're not on these slides yet. Like, look at the date, it says 3/5. My Elden Ring stream was 3/6. So... I have not updated these since March 5th. So, that is why if you pitched in the last 2 streams, you're not on the slides. Okay, now you're making my brain hurt. You're making me repeat things I've already said. That's where I start, like, harping on people. I don't want to harp on you. Especially if you've pitched in. It's like, Okay, my brain hurts enough. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time. Have a good one, stay safe, as Crestline would say, be safe, and have a good one. I'll see you later.